Welcome to the Sportz Phenz Show. The show where, just like you, we can't get enough sports.
The 47-year wait is over! And the Nuggets win it! Wilson throwing, it's up for grabs, and it's caught for the touchdown! And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50. To the Avalanche are 2022 Stanley Cup champions! And a shot into the back of the net for Diego Rubio!
Now here's your hosts, Arthur Knight and Larry Perkins.
1-0 Rapids. They are champions.
This guy. We're live? I don't hear anything. I didn't hear any music.
Yeah, man.
We didn't get any. Really?
Yeah, we didn't hear.
Yeah, I don't even hear myself, my guy. Well, welcome to the show. Hopefully. Well. There we go. There we go.
Oh, shoot.
I didn't know we were live.
Lights, camera, action. It's the
We're
glasses.
so professional here.
It's the glasses. I mean, you didn't see that coming, did you?
Welcome to the Sportz Phenz. I am Arthur Knight, and with me, as always, is Larry Perkins, and we are coming to you live from So High Cafe, 4300 West Alameda here in Denver, Colorado. Come on by, get you some Viper Pit barbecue. Make sure you call ahead or reach out on IG at So High. Let Vinny know that the Sportz Phenz sent you. See if you can get that 10% discount. We're also being brought to you by iEnvy. iEnvy Vision. iEnvy Vision is an optometry office that provides comprehensive eye exams and medically focused eye exams in Aurora, Colorado and surrounding areas. Their team members and leadership team include diverse individuals with years of experience. Their goal is to strive for the highest quality of professional and professionalized care. They are from the community. They are for the community. You can find them off of, Alameda and Airport at Buckley, 700 South Buckley Road, Unit K in Aurora, Colorado. Eye exams. They take most, if not all, major insurances. iEnvy Vision, we see you. All right, Larry. All right. Now that we know we're live.
Oh, I know all about that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, you know,
Don't do that.
I thought we were just muted. And I'm just sitting here like, we're live. I don't hear myself. I don't hear the microphone. I don't hear nothing.
Shoot, I'm about to use all my cuss words up before the show starts.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I got it.
Easy there. Easy.
Before the show starts.
That would have been worth it.
That might have been worth it.
know.
Probably would have gotten a few clicks just based off of that, and I would have been okay with that for once.
Yeah, that's toxic radio. Toxic
Podcasting.
Yeah, toxic podcasting. Yeah.
Well, you know what else is toxic? It sounds like your team because they don't know what they're doing over there. I'm guessing.
Shut up.
I guess we'll see if in Las Vegas, if they know what they're doing over there because they're just over there.
It's hot out there in the desert. Some people might get heat stroke.
Are they out there drinking in the desert?
Heat
double
stroke,
fisting it.
Heat stroke, making these moves.
Somebody's pulling the strings over there. I just want to know who's making these decisions, my guy. What direction? Can you explain to me, based upon what you've seen as a Raider fan, what have you seen that
would
gives
justify these?
That gives you direction of where your team is going and what they're doing and what their personality is going to be. Like, is this just going to be Seattle in the, he's moving the swamp, or not the swamp, the monsoon to the desert? Like, is it going to be Seattle 2.0, but in Las Vegas? Is that what we're doing?
Right now, it's like Under construction. Because the thing is, I'm confused because at the quarterback position, they upgraded. They did a pretty good job.
How? Okay.
I mean, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, hey.
Okay.
Gino is better than Mustachio. That's all I can say.
Did you just call that man Mustachio?
Minshew.
Oh, don't do that to that man. Don't do that. Mustachio. Okay. That's that man's name now. From now on, I can't call him anything else.
But far as like the D-line, the defense, I mean, I know the three players that we had that I wanted to keep. But if you look at it from a numbers, I mean, they just got better deals elsewhere. You talk about Bob, Spilling. He got signed up by the Patriots, I believe, for I bet $13 million. I mean, he's nice, you know what I'm saying, but not for that price tag.
Here's an article from SI.com. Says the Raiders' vision is clear with recent free agent signings. Please explain that to me. I'm kind of great blazing through this article a little bit here, but please explain to me from your perspective as a fan. I mean, you're a fan of this team. You follow this team. Do you feel that way? Is that a true statement?
Well, the guys that they signed to replace the guys that they lost were just like gap fillers, but no. I'm saying like the statement is that there's a clear vision because of the recent free agency signings. Is that true? I mean, do you feel as a fan of the Las Vegas Raiders that is a true statement? I would say no.
Why?
Because I don't know what they're doing.
So it's completely unclear, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
I mean, I understand the guys that they let go. Well, they signed elsewhere like Hobbs and Trayvon, Mooring and stuff. They was okay,
Okay.
But you got to understand, they was Raiders for a while, but the price tag, like what Green Bay is going to give Hobbs, we can't, you know what I'm saying? Or what the Panthers was going to get Trayvon, I mean, they all right, but we're not going to pay for that. So basically we got cheaper versions of them. And I think the Jeremy Chin, signing is okay. It was a sneaky signing, but it's just like I say, a stopgap. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people dogging them. That's my team, but I'm always
dog them just because they're the Raiders and I hate them.
I'm always on here defending them, just like my Lakers. You know what I'm saying? But shit, you got to be objective sometime. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I tell you all the time, yeah, I'm a homer. I love my teams.
But
when it comes time to be completely analytical and really break it down, I can put my feelings aside as a fan and actually look at the big picture. But as for the Raiders, I from the outside looking in, I follow all teams, this, but I follow my teams extensively.
I know you. You follow the division.
Well, I do follow the division for sure.
You follow the division.
But the bottom line is that if you're in the outside looking in and you're looking at the Las Vegas Raiders, you have no clue to what they're trying to do. Like, are they rebuilding? Are they retooling? Are they, to me, it really does look like Pete Carroll is trying to force his issue that he had in Seattle. He's trying to force his, this is how we could do it. We could do it with Geno Smith. That's why they gave up a 3rd-round pick for him. But all of their free agency signings, it doesn't. Well, I guess we as the public will have to wait until after the draft to fully see. But to come and say that the Raiders have a clear vision, that to me seems like a bridge too far. But hey, I don't get paid to run that team. I don't get paid to run any team. But I do know this. the Broncos do seem like they have a clear vision of what they're going to do going forward. They lucked out, got their guy. Some would say, I bet Sean Payton wouldn't say that he got lucky, but I would say definitively you got lucky that Bo Nix turned out to be the quarterback that he turned out to be. Now, you did see that potential, but potential is only that until it's achieved, right?
Right.
So,
well, basically what you guys did, you basically sat down, what we should have did, and addressed their needs and, strategically went after, the right pieces, and it was just little tweaks here and there that you guys needed. And
right. The defense was already top in the league last year. It was basically the offense that couldn't get, going. And now the Broncos have a tight end that can help spread the field. Now the middle of the field is open to Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the middle of the field, in between the hash, is now open to Bo Nix, as opposed to last year. Yeah, he got a few of them, but he had to throw them to like 3 or 4 different tight ends. Now he's got his guy, right? He's got a guy, not his guy, a guy, right. That can be that guy, right?
Right.
For this team when it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 7, and you just need 7 yards. You have that possession guy. You still have the guys to go over the top. You still have your possession wide receivers. But they even did sign another young wide receiver, Trent Sherfield. This is what I like the most about what the Broncos did, okay? Most of the free agency signings they got, yes, there's some past injury issues, but they didn't really sign these guys. There wasn't blockbuster guys that have had injury issues, and they're like, okay, we need them to step in and take over. These are guys that's just like, okay,
plug in
when we need this guy, with the exception of Evan Ingram, Justin Stranad, what's the safety?
Hufanga?
Hufanga. With the exception of those players.
You talking about Greenlaw. What's this name? You talking
about? Yeah, well, and Greenlaw.
Okay.
Greenlaw. Okay, I'll throw him in there. But the rest of these guys are all, anyway, they're 1 to 2 years, 3 years most. And yes, they've had some injury issues, but the Broncos already had the majority of their players in place, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It's the offense that they really, really, really needed to address. And they got a long snapper. They re-signed Jared Stidham because nobody else was going to. Sorry, Stidham. I like the kid. He's got a little, he can play. Don't get me wrong. He can play. But, he wasn't going anywhere else. Matt Pert is probably a pretty good sign, though, because 2 years in the league, he's a big guy. I'm pretty sure he hasn't played a lot. So you're going to he's got a lot of tread on the tire, and you signed him kind of as a backup, right?
Right. So
but he's 6'7", 318 pounds. First, he was a third round pick, to the Giants. But signed him as a backup swing tackle. So
Yeah, so we were just talking earlier about, like, as far as the draft, the upcoming draft, and we was talking about, for you guys, picking the best player available. So,
well, now they can.
But the thing is, when you do that, is it going to be on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball?
Ooh, that's a good question, my guy. For me as a fan,
I mean, just looking back in the playoffs against Buffalo, you know what I'm saying? It's like, because me personally,
well, I mean, it was all the offense. The defense, yeah. I mean, Buffalo did score 31 points, but it was the fact that the defense was on the field the entire game. If the offense could put together something, the defense would have been, your top 5 defense.
Maybe having that tight end will help.
Well, that does help.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if the best player available
because your guys' defense is going to be stout. It's going to be actually better than last year.
Exactly.
So you would say
here's the thing about your question. When you're asking a team that's going to just pick the best available player, it doesn't matter if it's defense or offense, because you're grabbing the best player available. And if you don't want, like, let's say it's a quarterback or something like that that's the best player available, and you can't draft that because you already have your quarterback, then you trade down. You trade down or you trade out. You don't pick somebody in the first round, just because.
Well, I
especially in a
understand.
position that you were already heavy in.
Right. I understand what you're saying, but seeing that you have two separate sides. You have a defense. You have both sides are crucial. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? I understand it don't matter if it's the offensive or the defensive, but the thing is, you have to know which side is stronger than the other. They not right now. The Broncos isn't like
if the Broncos
Detroit Lions. Okay,
no, they're not even close to the Detroit
They're not
Lions.
like.
I wouldn't
great.
even say we're the Rams.
They're not great. They're not great on both sides. They're great.
Right.
They're greater. Their defense is a little greater than their offense.
Right.
So that's why I was saying that.
Right. Yeah. I would say basically, the only position that I would say if they had to pick in that number one spot and they were the best player available was this position, I would say would be inside linebacker, but it would have to be somebody that's like jumping off the page, and I don't think there's anybody in the draft this year that's like that anybody's talking about. Oh, this guy's got to be picked in the top 20. Like I don't see anybody like that.
Right, where you guys are drafting.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way, and there's no reason now to trade up. I mean, in addition, they signed another cornerback, Jaquan McMillan, bringing back Lucas Kroll, signed another outside linebacker, Tillman. Defensive lineman Jordan Jackson, DJ Jones. So, and then another defensive back, Devin Key. Now, a couple of these guys are just in there for, preseason, practice squad, type stuff.
Right.
But all of the top ones that we already mentioned, Hufanga, Greenlaw, Ingram, etc. Those are all positions that the Broncos needed just depth in. But these guys are at the top of their game. They just went through injuries, right? Yeah. So let's bring them in. Let's see where they're at right now. None of these guys got great, huge deals, like blockbuster deals. No. And the Broncos could probably trade out of the first round or trade down from the first round, get a second-round pick, couple second-round picks.
Well, good luck throwing into that. Trying to throw into that Broncos defense.
Well, one other position that I would be okay with is his offensive line. Yes, the Broncos' offensive line was really, really good last year. I mean, Bo Nix, except for the beginning of the season, Bo Nix pretty much stayed protected. Like, he didn't get sacked a lot. He stayed pretty much upright. So I would say, if I'm going to draft in that position, it would have to be a stellar inside linebacker or a stellar, guard or tackle, maybe even center, just to bring them in and back up these great players we already have.
But see, the good thing,
I would trade out. I would just trade out of the first round at this point.
I wouldn't even. I just looking at the draft, they have so many abundance of guards.
They really do.
So the thing is, I wouldn't even waste the 20th pick,
something like that.
I wouldn't even waste that. I'll wait to the second or third round, or what? If I don't know if they have those picks, because I don't even know if my team had extra one last week. But anyway, but yeah.
Well, now you know. That's why you're on this show.
I know now. I wish I would have knew when they was gonna pick all of them, let all our good guys go. But
I mean, I before we looked that up, I really was confused to why they would give up a third-round pick. But if you're giving up a third-round pick that wasn't even yours, it's not necessarily a wasted pick to get the quarterback that you already know can run your system. So I tip my hat to, I'm Pete Carroll. I was forgetting his name. I tip my hat to Pete Carroll that he was like, I want my guy, and I'm willing to give up a third-round pick that we weren't going to have anyway. I don't think he feels like to me, the only clear vision that Pete Carroll seems to be invoking right now is that he's not trying to rebuild a team. He's going to bring in some of his guys, and then through the draft, like he did in Seattle, that's how he found Russell Wilson. That's how they drafted most of these guys that they had.
Well, the thing is, at least the good thing I could say about the Raiders is they have, as far as like at the top, they have a vision. They have Pete Carroll. So, I mean, whatever he does, is welcome. If they just let him do him and don't be hovering over him, like they did the previous coach, they should be all right. But right now, I don't understand. But hey, I'm just over here.
Well, here's another thing that I didn't understand is why would the Los Angeles Rams cut a Cooper Kupp? I know he's had some trouble staying on the field the past couple of seasons, but it looks like he has found a new home in Seattle within the division, right? Aren't they in the same division, Seattle and Los Angeles Rams? So let's see how that drama turns out. I can't wait to see. This is going to be a really, really good season because, as you said right before the show, Kansas City has lost some players. Like they lost Hopkins, right? He's good playing for another team, and they traded to get him. Like they gave up capital.
I mean, he's decent. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he wanted his bag.
He got it,
and he got his bag.
I mean, Sam Darnold, he gonna have a target now.
So, So yeah, I honestly can't wait for this football season because of the fact that there's been a lot of movement.
It's been an active
There's
free agency.
a lot of movement. Coaches, quarterbacks. It's going to be a crazy season coming up, man, and I can't wait to see it.
For some teams.
For a lot of teams.
It's going to be horrible for a few.
I don't know. You never know, man.
Tennessee.
Maybe the Raiders see something that we don't see.
Oh, the Raiders going to be all right. I mean,
well.
but they're going to be all right. But I'm just talking about other teams.
We were saying this time last year, we were saying
Jacksonville.
how the Raiders might be, it'd be the Broncos and the Raiders would be 2A or 3A and 3B, There wouldn't be really a fourth place.
I still don't
and then
know what
the Raiders came
Chargers-
out last year and crapped the bed.
Like we were saying in our division, yeah, I think we might be the third best team because I don't know what the San Diego Chargers was doing.
I don't know how do you make the Raiders the third best team? Explain that.
Third best team in the AFC West?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Raiders?
Yeah, we're gonna be better than
So
the
who's in fourth place?
Chargers.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
You're actually serious.
Yeah.
I thought you were joking. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Chargers won 11 games last year, my
They
dude.
ain't gonna win 11 games this year.
Okay. How many did the Raiders win last year?
Shit. Oops, sorry. That's my inner anger right there. I think it was 4.
4 whole games. They lost more games.
I wanted them to lose 2.
Then Chargers won.
They won those at the end. Then they won those 2 games. So
4-13 was what your record was, and you honestly think so. You think there's a clear vision too. So you delusional?
no,
You just admitted.
no. I just seen this. I just seen the Chargers free agency.
Oh, okay.
They let a lot of people go.
They did.
They
did, and then they're bringing in some other people, but
Not
there's
comparable.
no clear vision. So how can you say that they are definitively, let's say, 10 more games, 8 more games better now?
Because I don't like the Chargers.
Oh, okay. It's a feeling thing. Okay,
I don't like
got you.
them. And the thing is,
I feel you. That's how I feel about the Raiders every
it's
year.
gonna
I'm not
be-
going to lie to you.
It's going to be KC, then Denver, then Raiders, then the Chargers.
I don't know. I think the Broncos could quite possibly beat KC this year. They have a good shot at winning the division. They now have 2 all-pro cornerbacks, one at safety, one at the actual corner, right? They've got
Now
they just signed another guy that would have been an All-Pro with the exception of his injury at linebacker.
And then you got a blueprint from Philadelphia how to attack them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the Broncos had a blueprint themselves. They almost beat them twice last year.
Well, the thing is, you guys.
They won by a blocked field goal.
If you guys would have did what you said, they should have did.
Well, yeah.
Don't play to,
Don't play to lose or play not to. Just play to win. Play to win.
And that's what Philly did.
Don't play not to lose.
That's what Philly did.
You gotta just go out there and just beat them.
You can't. Kick a field goal at the end of the tie. No, you want to just score a touchdown.
Well, and I think now with the tight end, the new tight end, with them re-signing Bowles, even though I was a little pissed off about that because I was ready to move on, but he actually did have a relatively good season last year. Like I said, Bo Nix was upright most of the season, so can't even really say that re-signing him and bringing him back was a bad decision. I mean, maybe that's another one of those positions, the left tackle, that you get at 20, pick 20. You know what I'm saying? Like you go grab one of those top tier left tackles to, sit behind Bowles for the next 2 or 3 years. I forget what they signed him to. It's at least 2 years. But you have a left tackle come by or come and grow and sit for 2 years, and then thank you Bowles, retire as a Bronco and have a good rest of your life, and we're moving on with young guys. But I do like the fact that Bowles and a couple of other players on our team like Sutton, guys who have been on this team for a long time and have never been in the playoffs or played a playoff game, actually did get to play a playoff game last year. But now having that taste, man, it hopefully that builds a hunger in some of these young guys. And that's why I feel like the Broncos could quite possibly, them and the Chargers honestly have the better chance of overthrowing Kansas City more than any other teams. That only leaves one team.
At least one team.
I know I'm an a-hole. I know. I know how to throw a jab without even just like throwing a jab.
You work on that. I see you work on that a lot. It's like, hey, you're very masterful at that.
I do what I do. But no, I mean, I'm just being real. Like who's the best quarterback in our division? Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Who's the second best?
Oh, yeah. San Diego.
Okay.
Herbert. Justin Herbert.
Okay.
A-Bear, whatever.
Okay. And who's the third best?
Come on. Why are we doing this?
Because I want to prove a point. Because you just said not even 3 minutes ago that your team is going to jump over an 11-win team from last year with the second best quarterback.
What are the pieces that they're missing?
What pieces are they missing?
Bosa?
Oh, okay. You got a point there.
Oh, man.
You got a point there.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with that defense? You got a point there.
And that's but they still have Bosa. It was another, I can't remember his name, but it's another guy that they missed that they lost in free agency. But, they lost more than what they gained. That's what I'm looking at, you know. We have a quarterback now that can compete with these other quarterbacks in the AFC way. I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so.
We are going to see. Because there are three of the, with the exception of the Chargers, did lose Bosa. You're right. They did lose Bosa. But with that exception, there are three of the better defenses in the league within this division.
I mean, I don't know what we are.
I mean, Geno did win. Didn't he win 10? They did win 10 games last. Maybe I'm cutting him a little short. Maybe I'm not giving him enough.
We're not.
Maybe I'll give him 2 flowers. He gets 2 flowers instead of 1 flower.
We're not going to be in 4th place again.
Okay.
Next year. We're not being in 4th place again.
All right.
Even I have to go to Vegas.
Wait, let me put this note in here.
Even if we have to go to Vegas.
316.
Every home game.
2025. Hold on, I'm putting this in the notes. Because are
And
you?
he
Are
actually-
you?
he
Are you?
actually-
Is that your final answer, sir?
Yeah, just read it again. What did I say? What did I say?
Hold on, let me get my notes open.
I, Larry, solemnly swear my Raiders
Oh my God!
won't be fourth.
Here, I'm
the
Larry's pledge.
That's a pledge. Please donate to the Pledge Foundation.
The Raiders
Yes.
will not be in fourth place this season. Correct? Can I put quotes around that? That's a quote?
Put like little clouds, like a little head, like a halo.
I'm putting quotes, dog.
Put halos like God, please.
I'm putting quotes.
Lord
Putting your
willing.
name,
Lord willing.
Larry
Damn, bro. Might as well put my
LP
social, put my driver's license,
Perkins.
put everything.
I'm putting all of that,
Put
and
all
then
that
some.
thing so they can come take me away to the crazy place.
Let's date this.
Buddy.
3/16/2025.
But I think this has been
Look. Larry's pledge: the Raiders will not be in fourth place this season.
you should like put that in bold letters.
Hey, I can do that.
Let's see.
I could do that.
So if that don't happen,
Oh, I'll be able to read it regardless.
we have to use some eye envy.
You gonna need that because you don't see clearly right now that your team is terrible. I will be shocked if your team wins more than 3 games this year. I will be shocked.
Oh man, I'm glad I wasn't drinking that. I was down even.
I'll even put that down. Let me put that down as a quote.
This guy, he's
I will be shocked if the Raiders
he like typing today. Everybody,
win more than 3
Well,
games.
I think I think this offseason, this NFL offseason been very interesting. A lot of I'm just saying this some teams that was other than the Broncos, I like what the Bills did.
Yeah.
The Bills, man. I like what the Washington Commanders did.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
You talking about the
forgot
rich
all
get
about that.
the rich get richer.
I forgot all about that. Yeah.
My boy Debo.
Yeah,
Debo.
they just gave one of the best rookies ever to play the game.
Debo.
One of the best weapons to ever play the game.
Man.
Hopefully Debo can stay healthy. But man, what a trade.
Yeah. Even
You talk
New
about
England.
going all in on your quarterback.
Oh, they love him.
Yeah, that's love
They-
right
they-
there.
they love him.
They're trying to give him Hall of Fame flowers right now.
Yeah. I like what they did. I like what New England did too.
New England still got a long way to go, but they made some moves. They
with
made
the
some
money,
moves.
because the thing is, they was one of the teams that had most money to spend, and they spent it wisely.
And we'll see what they're going to do in the draft. Like they could still get their quarterback because they obviously don't like their quarterback.
What Drake May?
Yeah,
Really?
I don't think they like him.
Why not? I think they do. They
Nah,
got rid of
nah.
old Brissett.
No. You watch. I bet you they draft a quarterback.
That's cold.
You watch. You heard it here first.
Yeah. And what was they thinking goes to San Francisco 49ers.
Man, that was a monster trade.
They
That was a monster trade. That was a monster trade for the Washington Commanders, man. I love that for them, actually. Because, even though I still feel like Bo Nix should have won Rookie of the Year,
but Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels did his thing. And not only that, and I know the playoffs don't matter. Don't get me wrong. I'm well aware that the playoffs don't matter. But the fact that he did get, a win in the playoffs, 2 wins, didn't he? No, they lost in the second round. So,
Yeah.
but they got a win in the playoffs with him at the quarterback position, and he was slinging the ball.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they just played it safe and ran the ball. They actually threw the ball around the field. That kid is the truth. And to give him a weapon like Deebo Samuels, it's just not fair to the rest of the league. It's just not fair, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, the rich just get richer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than skilled, right? We can do all the cliches we want, but that's basically.
But see, I like that though. I like the organization run by ex-Laker great Magic Johnson. But anyway.
Oh, is he part of the ownership for Commanders?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that because I know that the Washington has been poorly run for quite a while.
Oh, I think they took over about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
That's when
they're the ones that came up with the Commanders name because it was just the Washington football team for a good minute.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into some b-ball, man. Let's get into some b-ball. We're transitioning. Let's pivot. Let's pivot
to the hardwood.
To use a b-ball term, let's pivot.
Let's pivot to the hardwood. You want to explain? Do you want to explain what's going on with your Denver Nuggets?
I don't know what happened last night for sure. Sometimes I think that the Nuggets, especially, some of these players get fat and happy. They take their foot off of the pedal.
Oh, do tell.
They do, man.
Any one player in particular?
No. It's pretty much the entire team.
Oh.
But it also came down to, Murray twisting his ankle last night. Jokic is not 100%. It seems like they're the two stars of my team have flat tires, man, and it's at the worst possible time to get injured.
Hey, you preaching to the choir, bro. I mean, we have our whole starting unit out.
Yeah.
So we still gave y'all a game.
Yeah, I mean,
so I mean, it's usually around this time of the season, injuries start to mount. That's why San Antonio was so good at load management.
Well, here's the thing. I think that the Nuggets, the last year, as opposed to this year, last year the Nuggets would lose to teams like they did last night, but they would beat teams in the upper echelon of the league. And it seemed weird that they would be able to do that.
You think that's a mentality?
Well, this year it seems like they're losing to the better teams and then beating all of the good or the terrible teams.
Not last night.
But now it seems like they reversed that.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Now it seems like they've reversed it and reverted back to what they were doing last year. But it also does come down to a lot of, AG has been out almost all season. He didn't play last night. He did play against the Lakers, but he didn't play last night. The Nuggets have played more back-to-backs than any other team in the league this season to date.
Who's your third best player on your team?
The third best? Well, I mean, starting from top, it's Jokic, Murray, AG, MPJ.
Oh, so it's not an MPJ third?
No.
Okay.
No, he's not. He's the third best scorer on the team. Might even be the second best scorer. Depending on what Murray shows up.
So what would you say if the Nuggets flame out in the first round? Would you consider trade? Because your cap is, for those 4 players. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Would you consider trading MPJ?
Well, I mean, they have considered trading MPJ. I mean, MPJ had a double-double last night. It wasn't just him. Sometimes he does seem to flame out. Especially on the defensive side of the ball, he's very lazy on the defensive side of the court, like very lazy, and it drives me nuts because he can. I've seen him be a great defender. I've seen it happen.
I mean, that championship year, he was.
I've seen it happen this year. Like this year, he's gotten block shots. He's kept guys in front of him. He's made guys give up the ball even after a great closeout. I've seen him do it. He just doesn't do it all the time. And he has to do it all the time, especially with an AG out. We don't need you to be AG, but we need you to at least play a lot better on the defensive side of the ball than you have been. And this is why, because AG and Christian Brown, they both cover up a lot of defensive deficiencies that the Nuggets have by taking out the 2 best scorers of the opposite team, right? Mm-hmm. They cover the 2 best scorers from 1 to 3 and 3 to 5 all the time, right? So they can cover up a lot of the defensive deficiencies, and then MPJ's guarding like the 3rd or 4th guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Murray has to guard the same 3rd or 4th guy. because they're just not as good defense. Murray's better at defense than MPJ is. It's just both of them are inconsistent. I wouldn't even be surprised, and I don't want this to happen, so don't persecute me, Nuggets Nation, but I would not be surprised if Murray and MPJ were moved in a package deal, because of the fact that, and this is to your question of if they get bumped in the first round. I'm not saying if they make it to the second, third, or fourth round, or whatever, make it to the finals. I think if they make it to the Western Conference Finals, the Nuggets will stand pat on the top four on their team. They may retool the bench. They may retool through the draft and some other things, but they're not going to move their top four. But if they lose in the first or the second round, they may have to move on from one or both of those players just to be able to create the depth that they had when they did win the championship. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Because I'm just looking at MPJ. He wants so hard to be an alpha.
Yeah, but he can't be the alpha, and he knows it.
I mean, not
sometimes when you watch him play,
like at least the second guy.
Well, but sometimes when you watch him play, like you can see in his body language that he does want to be that, but then if he gets in to the lane, he doesn't have a way to create his own shot really, or he does, but he doesn't do it, right? He'll pass it. He'll get trapped in the corner and pass it out instead of trying to dribble his way out or do something differently than he always does. He just passes his way out. He has more than enough opportunity to be an alpha when he is out there with the twos. When he's out there with the bench, he should be taking over the game at that very moment. He just doesn't. If it feels like it's beneath him. And I'm not trying to bash MPJ because I like MPJ. He's kind of grown on me. But he is 7 years into the league. We got to keep that in mind, Nuggets Nation. It's not like this is year 3 and we're like in a still wait and see. Like this dude is year 7 in this league. He hasn't had quite the injuries and back problems that most teams thought he was going to have. But I think he's still out there playing scared.
Do you think he's a star player or just a
right
role player?
Right now he's a role player. He could be. He still has that potential. He's within his prime right now, and we've seen more out of him this year than in any other season that he's played. Last night was probably his 9th or 10th, maybe 11th triple or double, with rebounds and points. So it's not like he doesn't bring something to the table. He just doesn't bring it to the table every night, man, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
The reason why I asked you that because it was like a trade, a Denver trade for MPJ to the Lakers.
That's not going to happen.
I know. I was just saying.
That would never happen.
Why not?
The Denver Nuggets aren't that stupid. I mean, you guys don't have any capital. Are you giving the Nuggets Luka or LBJ? Because no, there's nothing.
You wouldn't take Austin Reeves and Dalton Connect and a couple of 2031 and a 2033 first round picks?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Why not?
No, because that's not a good deal for the Denver Nuggets.
Okay.
Because then he goes to the Lakers and does become a role player.
Well, the thing
all
is,
he'd have to do is stand in the corner.
We don't need him to be a role player. I wouldn't do the deal personally.
No.
I wouldn't do the deal
no way.
because the thing is, he's not. We're looking for a second, somebody that, you know what I'm saying?
You guys need a center anyways. And you already have good wing players and you already have enough players that don't play defense. I don't know why the Lakers would make that trade.
I know. I mean, I just seen it. I thought it was kind of interesting. I brought that up.
That's a silly trade for both teams, and whoever wrote that is dumb. With all due disrespect. Unless you wrote it, I'm sorry. But you said you read that somewhere, so I'm assuming somebody else wrote it.
I did, but I mean, to assume me.
No. I wasn't assuming. I was just saying if it was you, my apologies, because I said with all disrespect. Because I meant that. With all due disrespect. Like, nah. Come on now.
You are a graduated hater.
Well, because that's just a dumb deal for both teams.
It is actually, but
That's just stupid.
I just
That's stupid.
I bring this.
The Nuggets could get way more capital. Like, I do like Reeves. I do like Connect. They showed some gut and grit.
But no athleticism.
No. Reeves got some athleticism. Connect is yet to be seen. I mean, this is his first year, but that boy can shoot. I can tell you that. That boy can shoot. And he could play. He passed the eye test on me the other night.
I'm just glad he wasn't like he's still down on himself for the debauched trade, because he was like really.
Well, he came out the other night against the Nuggets definitely and showed why the league. Now you guys will be your team better be on their game and trying to sweeten the deal to keep that kid, because after trying to trade him, you got 3 years to get that that boy.
That's what I'm saying. You
got 3 years to convince that boy that he shouldn't just walk off into the sunset with another team, and that's real talk. Because if I were him, I'd be like, I'd take that chip, put it right on that shoulder, show him why they need to keep him. But the Lakers are the ones that need to show why, you know what I'm saying, that they made the mistake.
But I'm like, just work. Get in the lab, just work hard, and then when you up for an extension, just sit down and say, hey, this is what I'm worth. That's when you pay them back. When you sit down with Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka and just like, hey,
Well, you let your agent do your talking for you, first of all, but
right. No, of
but
course.
you got to go out there. You got to go out there and let your game talk for you, in the sense that. You got to play. And to me, the other night when they were shorthanded, he came out and he played. I think he had like 21 or something like that. He now the Nuggets were playing garbage defense in that game because they really should have blown the Lakers out, honestly.
Because I actually stopped looking at the second half, and then I seen the final score. I knew they was going to lose. I looked at it, I was like, dang, Denver I don't think they played. I was looking at the minutes. That's the first thing I looked at when I seen the score. I looked at the minutes. I say, come on, they probably set their players like the middle of the third quarter. I said, no. They played.
Nope. The game was too important. The game last night was important too. But to a certain extent, the Lakers game was more important, because that's a team that's literally right behind you or right above you. Like we've been flip-flopping for the past 2 weeks.
So we like them before. Yeah, we dropped
the thing is that that team is hovering around the Denver Nuggets. That team was way more important. To lose to the Wizards is a bad loss. It's ugly, but they're a team in the East. That game messed with the bracket to a certain extent. But losing to the Lakers would have dropped the Nuggets into fourth place immediately, instead of moving them into second place, which they could afford to lose to the Wizards the next night and not lose too much ground in the standings. Like, at worst, they're going to drop to third, right, instead of fourth. Which I know somebody would argue, well, that's not even that much of a change. Well, it is that much of a change. It depends on it. It decides which bracket you're on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's
when you drop to fourth, you're playing against the fifth team, yes, but then you're in that same bracket with OKC.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
if you're going to get OKC, I'm like this. You got to get them in the first round. And I ain't trying to go down that far. But the thing is, that's the only way you can get to OKC, because they're such a young team.
Right.
If they get, I'm serious. If OKC,
I agree.
If OKC somehow gets the Timberwolves in the first round, watch out, because they can cause some trouble.
Well, Minnesota is a bad matchup for. See, here's the thing. Minnesota was built to beat the Nuggets. Period. The team, the guy that built the Denver Nuggets, who drafted Nikola Jokic, who drafted Jamal Murray,
who drafted MPJ.
No, I don't think he drafted MPJ. I think it was a different. I could be wrong on that. He might have drafted MPJ, but either way, the guy that basically put this team together, like the base, not what it is now, but the base of this team, is now the GM and partial owner in Minnesota, right? He literally, because the Nuggets let him walk away without giving him what Minnesota gave him, he literally went over to Minnesota and built a team to beat the team that he built. And the reason why Minnesota is a nightmare matchup for OKC and Denver is because, like I said, number one, Minnesota was built to beat Denver, but OKC was built to mirror image Denver. Their style of play, SGA is a little bit of a bigger guard, and so a better Murray per se. And I'd take Murray still hands down regardless, but
because he's yours.
Yeah, that's my dude.
That's true. Yeah,
that's my dude.
Yeah,
but the bottom line is that they were built to literally mirror the Nuggets. So that's why the Minnesota Timberwolves are such a nightmare matchup for both of those teams, or any team that's built in the image of the Nuggets. Mm-hmm. Minnesota seems to dominate, right? Mm-hmm. Because they were built to be that team, to beat those teams. Yep.
Because right now it'd be either the Clippers or the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that I honestly was hoping that Minnesota would stay where they were when they fell out into the play-in. I really was, and that's some haters. I almost cussed. That's some hater stuff. I'm not gonna lie. That's haterism.
He said,
I hate that team, dude, because of the fact that they are literally built to beat my team, and they do every single time. Yeah, at least the last 5 games.
They'll have a couple of free agents next year, though. That might get snatched up. So they.
Well, I mean, Minnesota's they're slowly falling apart. They were constructed to beat the Nuggets, but they weren't constructed well.
What's the 6th man? Their 6th man. He's gonna be a free agent.
Yep.
What's his name? I can't remember his name. We talk about him all the time too.
I do, because that's why they let go of what's his name to New York, is because they had
But they still have to. I mean, they still up there in the threshold. But
God, what is that boy's name? Oh my goodness!
Woo! Don't start that. Don't start that.
Well, I'll be working nights, man.
Me too.
This is my sleep time, really.
Hey,
this is my sleep time.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah. Let's see. Nas Reed.
Yeah, he's gonna be a free agent.
Yeah, but he's not gonna go. I mean, they have a lot of guys. They have a lot of guys that are gonna dip on them. The only one that they re-signed, or the 2 that are gonna be mainstays, is gonna be Ant and the Awful Tower. Yes, that's what I said.
Don't you think?
I said what I said.
I think the NBA should have a franchise. You know how they have in the NFL franchise tag for franchise tag.
No. That gives way too much power to the teams and takes away power for the players to be able to. Right now, I feel like there's a good balance of power between the players and the
as far as
teams.
If they could fix it year of service.
No. See, the reason why it works well in the NFL is because you have a 52-man roster. How many players do you get as an NBA team?
15.
Exactly. So if you're franchise tagging your best players, we might as well go back to 80s style, where there's no free agency, in 60s, 70s, and 80s, no free agency, because what these teams are going to do is they're going to franchise tag every single all-star that they have every single year and not pay them the money that they should be paying them. Because that's all the franchise tag is in the NFL. It's a way for the owners to screw players that have outplayed their contracts out of paying them to keep themselves under a salary cap or whatnot, or to pay other players, their quarterback, et cetera, et cetera. So I've never believed in a franchise tag. I think the NFL should do away with it. I do not think that any team that to me speaks ownership of a person. You know what I mean? Like I own you. I'm a franchise tag. You ain't going nowhere. I'm a franchise tag your ass every year. Every year. Now, if you put a cap on how many times you can franchise tag a person, or if you put a stipulation And you put a stipulation in that if you franchise tag somebody, no matter what, like let's say they're coming off of their rookie deal, you still have to give them if it's a 1 year, you have to give them the veteran max for that 1 year on a franchise tag, right? You can't give them the veteran minimum. You can't give them somewhere in between. You got to give them the max if you do that. And then you can only do that for 2 years. And then if you're not going to sign him to a long-term deal, you have to allow him to go sign to a team, right?
Okay.
2 years seems fair to me, especially off of a rookie deal. Especially if the guy that you were talking about, like just fictional player, just some kid out of college plays 4 years, or he's on his third or fourth year, but he's still that middle of the road, and he still has that potential, but hasn't quite reached it yet.
Right.
Maybe you do still want to see kind of like I would say like Najee for the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? Like the Nuggets didn't trade him when they couldn't trade him. They signed him to a bad deal, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But kind of like him in the sense that they kept him and signed him to that deal because somebody in that front office or somebody on the coaching staff still sees that he has potential. He just hasn't quite reached it yet, but he's slowly and he has been played better this year. But he hasn't quite reached his potential yet, right?
Right.
So that type of player, you could say that with Vanderbilt on your team, right?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, he's getting better every year, especially offensively.
I know.
But he's not where he should be in the years that he's played, right? So coming off of his...
Slowly. But some players are like, late bloomers.
Some are, and that's my point. So I'd say 2 years after your rookie contract is fair.
But he is really shooting his corner threes more now.
As I said, he's getting better. He's getting better. But he played for the Nuggets for several years. It's not like he's like in his 9th or 10th year or something like that. And he's just now getting better.
Late blooming.
That's my point. Like if you have a player like that still has a ceiling and they're still 7-8 years into the league, MPJ could even be considered that.
Oh, yeah.
There's still a lot of potential to be tapped in there. Let's say the Nuggets were to franchise tag him for 1 year, it would have to also have a stipulation of franchise tag doesn't count towards the apron salaries.
Right. Yeah, right? That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, because the apron, you'd be screwed in the apron immediately. So that's why I don't like franchise tagging, man. Like I said, it just insinuates ownership of a player. Or their potential or whatever the case may be. If you're not willing to sign that person to at least a 2-year deal, then why even franchise tag them? Like, why not just let them go? Most of these owners and these GMs are just, they're treating these players like literally playing cards. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm gonna hold on to this card as long as I can. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want my rivals to get this player, and then he blooms, and it's like, oh, I was right, and then right. But then you waste 2 years of both of you waste a roster spot for 2 years or 1 year, and the player doesn't get any better, so you waste a year with him. Maybe that player would get better with a different coach.
Right, under a different scheme or something.
A different scheme, yeah. Maybe your scheme doesn't fit them. So to me, I would just do away with the franchise tag all the way around. Personally, now I do like the player and team option. I like that. Okay. Keep that. You know what I'm saying? That to me in the NBA works better than franchise tagging in the NFL.
I like the little exceptions. Like the veteran minimum,
the bird rights, of those things I love in the NBA. Because if you draft a guy, like let's say Christian Brown decides, after his next year that he's coming up on the end of his rookie contract, he's obviously outplayed his rookie contract. It's obvious. So they're going to have to pay him. But even if he goes somewhere else, the Nuggets do have his bird rights because they drafted him. So they will have an opportunity to match the salary that he's offered, which will be very beneficial.
And it won't count against.
Exactly. It's almost like a restricted free agency, but he's not restricted. He's free to go talk to other teams, and the Nuggets can match it. With restricted free agency, the Nuggets, have an right to match it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit different in that manner. But either way, I don't know about the franchise tag coming to the NBA. I like the fact that you can do the player option or the team option. And as a player, if I have a player option, I can be like, nah, I want to go into unrestricted free agency. Or if I sign a deal that the team has an option, teams like, nah, you can go ahead and go into free agency. I like that.
A little something to talk about.
I dig it.
Throw it out.
It's a good question.
I don't think it would. Personally, it's
a good question, though.
I was just during the NFL free agency. That's all I was here getting thrown around a lot.
Well, you know what also gets thrown around a lot? Nothing. Just kidding. I got nothing.
I was going to say. I was waiting. I was like, what you?
But we are done for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for downloading our podcast. Don't forget to follow us at Sportz Phenz. We are on all your social media platforms. Do not forget to follow and holler at Sohai Cafe, at Sohai Cafe on IG. Tell Vinny the Sportz Phenz sent you. Hit up iEnvy. Tell him the Sportz Phenz sent you. Tell Bryson we sent you over there. Again, thank you for listening and watching our podcast. We will see you next week. Same time, same bat channel. Deuces.